The agenda for the December 19th meeting was posted on the bulletin board outside City Hall on December 12th, 2019. Agenda item 2, consent items. A, approval of the regular minutes from October 17th, 2019.
Does anyone have any additions or corrections to the minutes?
I do not.
You do not? All right, there's one. Everybody else cool
Yep.
with the minutes?
Yes.
Okay, then can I have a motion to approve the minutes?
I make a motion to approve the minutes from the October meeting.
Second.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Commissioners Vyar,
Abstain.
Oshigan,
Yes.
Tufenkian,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zadorian,
Yes.
Chairperson Vidor.
Yes. And before we go any further, I would just love to, on behalf of everyone, welcome Jane Vire to our commission.
Thank you.
Good to have you here, and welcome. We're glad to have you aboard.
Thank you, Chairperson Vidor. Happy to be here.
Agenda item 3, introductions and presentations, Library Arts and Culture events presented by Jennifer Fukutomi, Arts and Culture Administrator. So we have the Library Arts and Culture report here. First up, we have our State of the Urban Art Program Plan Community Update Meeting on January 9th, 2020 from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Arts and Culture. The Arts and Culture Commission will be hosting a State of the Urban Art Program Plan Community Update Meeting to learn about the Urban Art Program. We invite you to attend this meeting to catch up and see what's been accomplished in 2019 and join the conversation for what's to come in 2020. Next up, from January 21st to February 14th, 2020, the Arts and Culture Commission, through funding from the Urban Art Program, will be sponsoring a temporary art installation by artist Lucas Novak focused on stop-motion, claymation films, and paintings. So make sure to check that out in the new year. Currently on exhibit at Central Library's Reflect Space is Fragmented Futures, Afghanistan 100 Years Later, which runs through January 12, 2020. This exhibit explores an unprecedented showcase of art, writing, film, and scholarship about Afghanistan's fragmented past and future, featuring over a dozen Afghan-American artists and writers. Marking Afghanistan's centennial, the exhibit reflects on how the aspirations of Afghanistan and the diaspora were interrupted, transformed, and reborn since its independence. On January 12, 2020, from 4 to 6 p.m., join us for the closing, a film and panel discussion co-sponsored by the Afghan American Artists and Writers Association and co-curated by Gazelle Samizeh and Helena Ziwari of AAAW and Ara and Anahid Oshigan. Commissioner Oshigan, is there anything you want to add?
I want to say it is an unprecedented kind of exhibition, this one for the Afghanistani community here in Los Angeles, because we had two really outstanding artists and curators working with us, and they brought from all over the world. It's an international cast of artists, local artists, all the way from Afghanistan and Iran, part of this exhibition, and a large, large cast. And so I urge everybody to go see it, and also, as well to see the film at the closing on the 12th, January. Thank you.
And if I might add, Madam Chair and Commissioner Oshigan, I would say almost an unprecedented audience at the opening of that exhibit. It was a great event, and I think a lot of credit goes to your co-curators who did a really good job of getting the word out there, but they also programmed entertainment and all of that, and I know that was in conjunction with you and your co-curator. But great job.
Thank you.
Thank you. Next up, we have Start Your New Year Off Right with a day of reconnecting with yourself and others through movement, poetry, and art. Join us for a guided Qigong and yoga, art activities suitable for all ages, and a curator-led tour of the gallery exhibition, The Nothing That Is, with Yaron Dotan and Christine Rasmussian, an ekphrastic poetry workshop and performance, and a fascinating lecture on the poetry of Wallace Stevens, presented by Jeff Casavan of Queens College. All of this, all in one day, and all for free. So January 12th will be a very active and exciting day in Glendale for the arts. Next up, we have currently on exhibit at Brand's Library is The Nothing That Is, which runs through January 17th, 2020, and curated by Christine Rasmussen and Yaron Dotan. Humans are innately creative. We have the ability to make something out of nothing with just our bare hands. But lately, our newest innovations have become soulless, the human touch lost in the pursuit of purported efficiency and flawless design. In this show, the artists bear witness, observe closely, respond with handcrafted objects through shadows, empty landscapes, broken and reassembled vessels, depictions of invisible people and humans distorted by technology. An understanding begins to form. Delacroix said, "I can paint you the skin of Venus with mud, provided you let me surround it as I will." Likewise, the artists declare, "We will give you a human being made of emptiness, provided that you let us surround us as we will." They ask the viewers to see for themselves, suggesting, as Wallace Stevens did in his poem, The Snowman, that we behold the nothing that is not there and the nothing that is. So please come out to Brand Library and see this wonderful exhibit.
And sorry, I can't resist. Madam Chair, if I might, another great opening event, and our friends at the Brand Associates were there and all over that, and some really amazing art. As an artist, he's been New York-based for years, that's recently located in Los Angeles, and just as soon as I walked in and saw that art, I knew exactly whose it was, and I mean, it was just a great opening, tons of people there, so great exhibition.
Wonderful. So up next, we have the Brand Associates Music Series on Saturday, January 11th, 2020, from 2 to 4 p.m. Join us for a concert by the Elixir Piano Trio, which features violinist Samvel Chilingarian, cellist Feng Zhu, and pianist Lucy Nagazian. They will perform music of Haydn, Part, Dvorak, and Kuneva. On Saturday, January 25th, 2020, from 2 to 4 p.m., join us for a concert by the acclaimed Argus Quartet, who returns to Los Angeles with a program including music by Bedřich Smetana, Catherine Balk, and Fanny Mendelssohn Hensel. Admission is free, and Music Series is sponsored by the Brand Associates. Next up, so calling all history and architecture enthusiasts, please join us on Saturday, January 25th, 2020, from 9:30 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. for a tour of the Brand Library and Arts Center led by Brand Associates member and renowned international tour guide Joemi Wilson, author of Coming Up on Your Left, a Tour Guide's Guidebook. Miss Wilson will share the fascinating story of the Brand family and Miradero, the historic family that is now family home that is now Brand Library, and we'll also share information about the renovation and historic restoration that took place in 2012 and 2014. This tour is free, but RSVPs are required. RSVP by email to info@brandlibrary.org or call 818-548-2051. The tour is limited to 25 people. Please meet at the top of the stairs on the west side of the building and wear comfortable shoes. Tours are generously sponsored by the Brand Associates. So that is all that we have for the library report.
Thank you. Oh,
May I add one last thing? This Saturday on the 21st at 6 p.m., the holiday open house at Brand Library. Sorry, it sounds like we're all Brand all the time, but it is our art and music library. I attended last weekend. Great performer, just amazing music. Holiday craft making. So again, it's a lovely evening, and it's done in conjunction with the Historical Society and the Doctor's House. So both venues are open. So please feel free to attend.
thank you. Thanks for including that. And thank you very much, Jennifer. Great summary. I have one oral communication, so if we're ready, can we go to the next item?
Sure. Agenda item 4, oral communications. Discussions is limited to items not on this agenda. Each speaker is allowed 5 minutes. The commission may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. The commission may refer to this matter to city staff or investigation for report.
Thank you. Okay, so Jennifer Granville of Glendale Arts, come on up. Or come on down.
Hello, Commission, Chair, Library staff. Can everybody hear me okay? Am I doing that right? Can't tell. My name is Jennifer Granville. I'm the Manager of Special Events at Glendale Arts, and I'm here just to provide you all with an update on what we're doing at Glendale Arts and the Alex Theatre. December is a very busy month at the Alex Theatre, with something happening literally every day of the month except for 2 days with no activity. The last 2 weekends alone, we've served, we haven't served anything. We presented the Nutcracker, 2 versions of it, one by the Los Angeles Ballet and the other by Red Chair Productions. In these 2 weekends alone, we've welcomed about 5,000 people to the Alex Theatre to enjoy these performances and hopefully build lasting memories in Glendale and at the Alex Theatre. As we close out the year, we're anticipating more crowds coming to see the Gay Men's Chorus Holiday Spectacular, the Alex Film Society's film screenings, Armenian Fairy Tales, and the Armenian Christmas Show. So that's everything at the Alex Theatre coming to December the 31st. Another end of the year thing, we're in our season of giving, and Glendale Arts is conducting an end of the year giving campaign. We're over halfway to our target of raising $20,000 by the end of the year in support of the Alex Theater, with the goal of keeping our arts programs accessible to as many people as possible in 2020. So if anyone here or watching on TV is interested in making a contribution to support the arts in Glendale, you can find out more at glendalearts.org. Our next event is actually on January 25th as well in the evening. We're kicking off the year with our Illuminate dinner on the stage of the Alex Theater. The dinner raises money for ongoing maintenance and support of the Art Deco spire, the marquee, and the starburst on the Alex Theater. In September of 2020, the Alex will turn 95, and we're hoping to have the starburst at the top of the spire fully repaired and fully functional by that time. We really rely on supporters of the Illuminate dinner to keep the neon marquee maintained and functioning throughout the year, and we celebrate their commitment to the Alex and to the city of Glendale. You'll all have received invitations by email to that event, so we would hope to see you there. This concludes my update from everyone at Glendale Arts. We wish the Commission and the library staff and their families and loved ones very happy holidays, and would like to thank you again for your support in 2019. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Jennifer, and we wish you the same, and we're always thrilled to have Glendale Arts come and talk with us here. Thank you. Okay, next item.
Agenda item 5, action items. Agenda item 5A, report on the Urban Art Program Plan update, community meeting on January 9th, 2020. Motion to note and file. So, Jennifer Fukutomi-Jones, Arts and Culture Administrator with our Libraries and Culture Department. In 2018, the City of Glendale's Library Arts and Culture Department hosted several community stakeholder meetings in conjunction with the development of the Urban Arts Program Plan. On September 19th, 2019, the Commission directed staff to schedule and plan a special meeting entitled State of the Urban Art Program Plan Community Update Meeting on January 9th, 2020 from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Central Library Auditorium. On December 10th, 2019, the Commission held a special meeting to discuss the agenda for the State of the Urban Art Program Plan Community Update Meeting with the constituents of Glendale in order to provide transparency and communication on the status of the plan, in addition to the arts and culture priorities for 2020. So with you in your packet, you have Exhibit A, which is the updated agenda for the January 9th meeting, which included recommendations and feedback from the commissioners from the December 10th meeting.
And are you? We're just looking at it. You're done. I'm just asking. Do you have more you want to tell us, or?
It's mainly for review. This is based on the recommendations that commissioners gave at the December 10th meeting.
Okay.
So it's for review.
So I'll give you all a minute. I assume you've read it already since you got the package. But if anybody has any comments, I have a few, but I'd like to hear from everybody and be the last one to speak. So if anybody wants to provide any additions, corrections, or make any comments, please feel free.
When you say roll call, is that because this is a formal meeting technically, and it's roll call of just the commission, I assume?
That's correct.
Yes, we'll do it like we did it at the previous meetings, kind of off to the side. Okay, great.
So that is what I was going to ask. I assume that because it's a community meeting, we're just going to be sitting amongst the crowd, but that sounds more like it's going to be a formal seating like this. Or can we do that and then go sit in the crowd? Because I enjoy casual atmosphere. What did we decide on?
Well, if it's like the other two meetings, which were formal meetings also, the ones we had while we were working on the plan, we just dotted the I's and crossed the T's on initiating and adjourning the meeting. In other words, the legal language that you have to use to do the meeting, but then the meeting just progressed like a community meeting, and we are breaking out into 4 groups, so definitely we're a little more loose about that.
Correct. Yes, for all 5 commissioners to be in the same room discussing the urban
You
art
have
plan, it
to.
has to be a special meeting with roll call.
Anyone? Okay. Well, I just wanted to add a few things because I did hear from some of you, and informally or otherwise. And so I just wanted to mention that since we have to make a decision in advance here, so we're all prepared, that the breakout sessions are going to go this way. The leaders, we're having 4 breakout sessions just to review after the updates are given, where people will go into different corners of the room, and the 4 major components of our urban art program plan will be discussed in a more informal setting, and each group will be led by one of 4 commissioners. Ara Oshigan will lead the citywide arts breakout. Savannah Zadorian will lead the neighborhood arts breakout. Carolyn Tufenkian will lead the arts and cultural events breakout, and I will lead the performing arts breakout. And of course, there will be, I'm sorry, Jane, yes. And we decided, since it wouldn't really be too fair to you at this point to be leading a group, that you would be free to sit in with any of the 4, move around if you want, and just kind of absorb and get updated on what's on people's minds. Of course, I'm sure you'll be spoken to before the next formal commission meeting by staff, but since this is coming up so quickly, we didn't want to throw you under the bus. So please feel free to just take it all in and do whatever you want to do. Does anybody have any feedback or concerns about the assignments of the groups, leadership of the groups? Okay. So then I wrote myself a few questions here about the event that I just wanted to mention, and if I'm, stepping out of line, please intervene if you must. So I was just wondering, and these may be things we can talk about in a breakout meeting with the staff, just myself and the staff, but when we do break up, we have to have a procedure for breaking up. So I wondered who was going to be leading that procedure, or saying, okay, we're now going to break up and this is how we're going to do it. It could be probably you or Jennifer or myself, but I think we need to...
I don't want to think about the commission breaking up, so maybe we can use the term breakout.
Break up, yeah, not breaking up.
Our corners, and then simultaneously conduct those. So
yes.
I think at that time, pardon me? Yeah, so I think as we go through the meeting, I think, I believe you're speaking.
I'm first.
And then Jennifer or I will be speaking, and then probably at that time it would make most sense for you as chair to just announce that we're going to be going into these breakout groups, which you may have mentioned earlier that we're going to be doing that, so people can kind of prepare mentally for that. Not that they need to mentally prepare that much. So then we just do that, and then we'll state a time, and then we can just maybe we can find a chime or something to start ringing when we have about 5 minutes left, and then start wrapping them up and come back together.
Okay. And there were a few more logistical issues that came to mind about that, and I don't know whether you want to talk about it here, but, I tend to drill into details sometimes, and, everybody's eyes start to roll because it's a little too much. But, I think questions should be answered in advance, like, are we going to have whiteboards? Who's going to take notes? Who's going to summarize? Who will speak for the group when we wrap the meeting up? So we can either talk about that here or break out into a meeting prior and figure all of that out. So whatever.
So Chair Vidor will actually have not really whiteboards, but we'll have easels with kind of those white pads.
Right, that's what
they have 3M products, so they can literally, if you fill up more than one, you can peel it off, stick it on the wall.
Okay.
And then probably just have each of the individual commissioners then, per the agenda, will kind of give a very brief kind of recap of what was discussed.
Right, okay. Thank you.
One more
Go
question.
ahead. Sure, absolutely.
Logistic-wise.
Yeah.
So seating, what would happen with seating?
I would probably suggest that it's a large room, so we'll have seating in the middle, and then really up to you all, but it'd be good to decide now whether we just, kind of stand at the corners and do that, or if we want to have tables in the corners The problem is just not knowing how many people are going to attend. But a table would allow some folks to stand around the table, some folks that need to sit. So whatever you all think would be the best way to do it. But I think some chairs in the middle, we end up having a large number of people coming. Well, they can pull chairs to the sides if there's not enough to sit down. I imagine it's going to be people mostly standing around and a few people that will wish to just sit.
Yeah.
So we're going to have all the chairs set up in the middle and then move them to the sides?
I think we could have, the room's large enough that we could have chairs in the middle and then have some tables with a few chairs in the corners,
Previously set up.
Yeah.
Previously set up. And even, so I think that would work well. But, if before that, Chair Vidor, once we kind of see it in the room, if we want to alter it a little bit, we can do that too.
Sure, yeah, I know that.
Sometimes you need to see it.
Right. For instance, at the meetings we had big turnout, and so it had to be set up like an auditorium style, which is fine since we're going to be having presentations. But at the advisory committee meetings, which are smaller, say 20 to 25 people, we set up in a horseshoe, and I would hope that we would have too many people to do that, that we would need the full auditorium style seating arrangement.
And we can always pull chairs from the center if there's going to be
If we need,
Right,
if,
yes.
sit down and
if we need to, yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Do we have an update on RSVPs thus far?
I have not checked the RCP link recently, but I can definitely send an update before the holidays and let you know how.
I did see some activity on Facebook, the yes, no, maybe. Ugh, I hate that maybe thing, but, that, people were reacting to that, but I can't remember the numbers. And then, does anyone else have anything
I had a question.
so far? Yeah,
In terms
go
of the timing, so we envision, so there's 4 parts in number 2, 5 minutes, 10 minutes each. Maybe I don't know. So there should be some coordination also between.
Oh, we're going to run
the different
through.
parts.
We're going to run through
Yeah,
the presentations and make sure that they time appropriately
Right.
to give us enough time.
So Chair Vidor, Commissioner Oshigan, we've literally worked out like a schedule. At 7 we do this, at 7:02 we do that, 7:05 we do that. So it's kind of all scripted out.
Yeah, and it'll be hopefully comprehensive enough, the presentations, but mercifully brief so that, we don't see anybody sneaking out of the room.
And I had one more question. If I
Yeah,
could.
yeah.
So the breakout sessions are free-flowing question and answer, and then after 3B, after the highlights are shared back with the whole audience, no more questions or answers, right? We're done with the sort of just a kind of a brief, and then we're
Yeah, we give the brief and then we end the meeting. So when do you want to invite public comment? What is your recommendation for inviting public comment? Mr. Grant.
Chair Vidor and commission members, after you finish your highlight and summary of what happened, the public can address you. You can take cards if they have comments, because it is an action item.
So each agenda item could have an agenda item comment.
It could. Potentially, after everybody's done their brief presentation, then, the public can address any of those particular subpoints.
Okay.
So after 3B,
Yeah, after 3B would be public comment.
And what would be the, I know here, because we're a little more relaxed and we have, all the time in the world, sort of, we give everybody 5 minutes. In that situation, would we want to kind of say, if there's 5 people who line up, it's going to be limited to, are we going to put time limits on comments?
Chair, you have the discretion of, giving them the maximum 5 minutes or less, depending on, how many comments.
So in other words, if the comments thing kind of gets away from us, we could say we need to move on because we have an important breakout session, and maybe is there some way to do that in a way that it isn't like cutting people off?
Well, again, remember, it will be after everybody comes back from.
Oh, you're talking about public comment after.
Yes,
3C.
after 3B.
Like a
Okay.
3C would be.
Okay.
It would be a
I
seat.
thought you were suggesting, I'm sorry, I misunderstood, I think. I thought you were suggesting that after number 2, we would have comments. No, it's
Yeah,
all public comments.
After
at the
3B,
end.
if there are members
Okay.
who would like to address the commission, they can do so.
Okay.
And when if people do line up, at that point, you can set the time limits,
Okay.
depending on how many cards you've received.
Okay. And then I think when we close, and I guess this would be me or, one of you two, that we encourage people to communicate with us, come to the meetings, write in, do whatever they want to do. So it isn't like, well, okay, we heard from you now, you're going to go your way and we're going to go our way.
The one thing is, again, unlike a regular meeting like we have today, there won't be oral communications. But again, after commissioners have shared what they learn, the audience and community can share their thoughts on these particular topics. But there's not a separate announcements of events and stuff like that.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Right.
So the hope would be folks would communicate that in the breakout groups so that you would be kind of capturing that there. And then remember, if folks do have public comment, it is, dare I say, recommended you not comment on their comments. You take it in as information.
Right.
And then we can certainly take that under consideration,
Right.
but we don't start a back
Right,
and
a
forth
big,
dialogue with
long-
folks. And,
yeah, right.
Yeah.
May I make a comment?
Yeah.
I never want to cut people off, but maybe it would be good to have a time limit on those comments because we'll already have broken out into groups. People will have made their comments, so I think anybody going up, maybe 2 minutes is better than 5 minutes. And if there was something that someone really wanted to discuss, they should come to our regular meetings to discuss
Right, well, that
these
would be
items.
the idea, that before the comments, that we stipulate that, give
Yeah.
them their time frame, which I think we would decide on right on the spot, depending on how many people
Are
are
lined
queued
up?
up.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
if we're lucky enough to have 20 people lined up and anxious to make comments, it's obvious, it's going to
So what
have
would-
to be pretty
Can we
short.
think of an average as of
So-
right now? So if it's 20
so-
people,
It would never be more than
I
5
know,
minutes.
but-
And then if it's 20
Exactly.
people, I would probably go with 2 minutes,
2
3
minutes.
maximum.
Okay, just so I
mean,
have it.
3 is a good,
Just
you
like-
can communicate a lot in 3 minutes. So, even I would say after having breakout sessions, the chair may, even if only 3 people wish to speak, probably limit it to 3 minutes. But that's up to the chair's discretion.
Okay. Does anyone else have any comments on this? I have a couple more just things I want to mention in regard to this agenda item. So before we go on, anything else? Okay.
I have one quick comment in regards to the timeline.
Yeah.
When we do the public comment section, which would be item 3C or whatever it might be, as of right now, there's about 20 to 30 minutes reserved for that extra public comment time. So keep that in mind as you're thinking of the agenda flow. That we have about 20 to 30 minutes at the end for that specific
For the
purpose.
public comment. Okay.
And libraries are for all, but libraries close.
How long is the envisioned
Right.
for the whole event?
So we have I created a very detailed timeline based on minute by minute for 7 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and I can send this to the commissioners as well.
So it's a 2-hour.
It is.
It's a 2-hour.
Envisioned 2-hour event.
Okay. Which is about the limit of
I
people.
would also suggest that one person be kind of the MC, right, where things start and
I think that's me.
stop, break
I
out,
think that's
break
me.
in. Yeah, so
Sergeant
I
at
think
Arms
you
slash
should, you should
MC.
take over the MC
Yeah, yes,
role
absolutely.
of this,
I
of this
I
whole
thought,
event.
I
Yeah.
kind of
Okay, I
thought
just
that
wanna
was
make that
going to
clear,
be my role because I'm quite concerned always about meetings being hijacked, meaning they get away from you or,
Yeah,
oh my
I just
God,
wanna
it's
make that-
now an hour and we haven't even gotten to this yet. So, yeah,
Okay.
I'm right there with you.
Okay.
And you can all feel free to jump in and help defend the fort if if it gets even more crazy. Okay, so just a couple more comments. I wondered. Thank you very much for Jennifer for doing such a great job on the your whole strategy for outreach is really nice. 9,000 people can't really object to that kind of an outreach plan. I was wondering if the GCC Arts Department is included in that.
I believe they were, but I can definitely double check
Okay.
and make sure that they're on
Because
the list.
one of our advisors was actually David Yamamoto, who is the chair of the photography department, and thinking of him made me think about, you know, the whole arts the whole big umbrella arts department of and all the teachers there being informed. And then the other thing was that I know everybody has a social network, and I was hoping that all of you, I know I saw you did one, but that, and I think you did, I'm not sure about you, Ara, but that we all, you know, stimulate our own networks rather than, you know, just, not that many of these people are on the official notification list, but we all have connectivity into the community, so just feel free to blast away. Okay. I think that was it for me. Okay. Next item.
Motion to move.
Oh, note and file. Motion to note and file. Motion to note and file.
I move to note and file the agenda for January 9th.
I second the motion.
Roll call.
Commissioners Vyar,
Yes?
Oshagan,
Yes.
Bufankian,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zadorian,
Yes.
Chairperson Vidor.
Yes. Next item, please.
Agenda item 5B, report on the Arts and Culture Commission website. The City of Glendale's Library Arts and Culture Department engaged Circle 6 to build a web platform template for the Arts and Culture Commission's website. In July 2019, staff met with Circle 6 to discuss the preliminary infrastructure of the website, and on August 29, 2019, staff met with Circle 6 to further develop the content on the Arts and Culture Commission's website. On September 19, 2019, at the Commission meeting, Circle 6 presented a draft version of the Commission's website. Commissioners provided feedback and direction on the draft version of the website. Circle 6 is here today to present the final version of the Commission's website at the December 19, 2019 meeting in order for staff to launch the website in conjunction with the January 9, 2020 special meeting entitled State of the Urban Arts Program Plan Community Update Meeting. And I'd like to welcome Armin and Helena Gregorian, who are going to present us with the final version of the Arts and Culture Commission website.
Good afternoon, Commission and Chair. We, with the generous assistance of Jennifer and guidance and input, we've been able to kind of bring this to you as a relatively completed site that has gone live officially as of yesterday. So, the Glendale Arts and Commission.org is the site. And the adjustments we made to it was, based on the feedback we got, was removing a lot of the copy, a lot of the text, including more imagery in it, and the key text moving it into links to pages where people can go there and read more. We also have clear buttons now. If you go to Call for Artists, where artists know a clear place to click on in order to get an application. So those buttons right now, I don't know if the Glendale site is down, but it is giving us an error message when it links to the Glendale site. The Vision website for the City of Glendale is down. Yeah. So, and as we progress, the programs, if we hover over the programs, we consolidated everything that's key. The Adams Square gas station, artist opportunities, all in alphabetical order to that menu, and the About section next to it has the about the commission as well as the key focus of the Urban Arts Program. We have some changes or additions we want to make to put it under the Urban Arts Program, and we'll add those sites likely next week, and to make sure we kind of round out everything so people have a full experience on the site. If there's additional content that needs to be put on there or transferred over from the current Glendale site, we can certainly move that over as well. So, and let's go to, say, the Adams Square mini gas station.
It's Adams Square Mini Park gas
Oh, it's a
station.
mini park gas
Yes.
station. Okay, we'll make that adjustment. So that is a slider there with additional images of past installations and current installation. And if we scroll down, we have additional information as to the past installations and guidelines and eligibility, as well as an application button. And this is common across the board with the other programs.
So if you click on installations there?
Yeah,
what
sure. Just
happens?
click on installations.
That's like past installations?
Past installations. Current and past installations.
Do you have any photos that you could employ that show people, kind of activity around this station? These are, they're lovely photographs, but there were so many photographs taken of receptions and people, artists, the people at the events that opened, kind of a little more dynamic as well as,
Yeah, I'll coordinate with Jennifer and get some more from the archives or Gary. Yeah.
Any other?
Is it going to be just one image per event, or?
Oh, we can have multiple images. We can have a slider. We can have multiple sliders. So as many images.
So under each one, like Hollywood Hustle, we can have the slider, like a gallery for that particular reception, or.
Yeah, a little gallery would be.
Yeah, that would be nice.
Yeah, so like multiple
happy
pictures
to-
here that you could click through and see all the pictures of the Hollywood Hustle, yeah.
If you go to under programs to Beyond the Box, Beyond the Box has some more images, and if you scroll down, there's a piece
Oh, nice.
there that we're playing. And if you scroll down to the bottom, we have
Oh, great.
an entire gallery of more images. And there's quite a few images. I think there were 82 images that we pulled down from
Oh,
the
that's
site.
great.
And then there's a load more button at the bottom. So
And does it give the location or the address for each one of these, or?
Some of them, the geo map, if you scroll.
There's a right here.
Okay, so correlates to that.
as far as the individual images, there is no correlation between the map and the images. That was
It just shows
Yeah.
you where there is a box.
And what are the different colors on the map?
This was based on rounds of the utility box, so by year, 2014, 15, 16.
Is that apparent? I just can't read that closely.
Click on one of
Zoom in.
it should pop
Oh,
up,
okay.
March 2018.
Got it.
The artist and the actual picture.
Oh,
Could we perchance put like a color key in just below the geo map that shows a blue icon and what year and a red so that it's evident what?
sure.
Yeah, thanks.
Sure, absolutely. We can put the color keys. This is an embedded map from Google Maps that has all the locations already in a database through Google.
Oh,
So we can put a key separate so that people are
Yeah,
aware
we
of
could
it.
put one down below, underneath it.
Yeah.
wow.
that's interesting. I didn't know Google had that.
So this was something that Chuck White had been working on for many years. Now it's community and recession.
Yeah. Okay. You have more to present. Maybe we should let you go on, and we'll just
Sure.
interrupt you when we.
Sure. If we go to the
Get-
programs, drop down again, we have concert series.
Mm-hmm.
And so the concert series also has some information of the two concert series that we have in an application button as well. I don't know if there is more copy to be written on each concert series. Certainly we can include that in a light box that pops open so that people are not clicking around, navigating constantly through the site, and trying to get back to where they were.
We had also discussed the actual application form to be embedded into the website, but we felt that it was best to have all city websites connect to the application form so that all the data is in the same. So when you hit
Right.
apply now, it would go back and reroute to a city website.
So that way it's not creating a separate database.
Yes. Yes. That's good.
And so we don't have a past concerts kind of database or pictures or anything. It just
I don't think we put anything in there that's from the past, but certainly we can if we want.
Yeah, we can
something-
absolutely include that.
Yeah, we can include that and include essentially like a blog role where You have an image of the artists as well as some information on them and a link to maybe their individual sites to give them credit there.
Consistent with the Mini
Absolutely.
Park gas station
Yes.
presentation, right? So I think all
I'll do that as well.
similar. I think probably, I mean, I would like to go through, I don't know if we're going through all the details of all the pages right now, but I probably want to go through it in detail offline and send an email with all kind of comments about different parts of it.
Sure,
I'd like to do
absolutely.
that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, we welcome that actually because it's kind of taking a whole beast of information.
Yeah.
And we'd love to have your input as to what you really want there, if something is too much, not enough. Absolutely.
And you can direct all the edits and recommendations to me. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
we can't hire
Yeah, yeah.
Elena and Armin full time, so
Yeah.
I will be administering the website on the back end. So you can send me all the edits that you'd like to incorporate.
Yeah, I
And
think that's
Jennifer's
best.
consolidation of that has been fantastic. So we get it timely and we get that changes. So.
Okay.
Do we have a list of all the public art in Glendale somewhere in here?
We do not. We had something for the urban art program we wanted to lay out, but
We don't have an official archive yet, but that's something we're definitely going to work on in the coming year
Okay.
to have an archive of public art.
and also creating the archive in a way where we can add data to it and it automatically populates in the database as opposed to moving stuff around. It's just much more tedious and prone to error and inconsistencies. So.
Would that be something that needs to be embedded now, like as a drop-down, or can it be done later?
Well, we can put it under the past programs,
Okay.
and then we can just keep adding to that.
And we can even split past programs from urban art or whatever it is to a concert series. We can have those
Okay,
broken
so
out.
it's not something that we need to
I think
necessarily.
that's a very good point. Public art is like a major part of what we're doing. There should be much more obvious on this website, probably, I would think. At
Past
least
and present.
past public art projects, at least. No?
Temporary and permanent.
Yeah, of course.
Temporary and
And
Yeah,
Whatever
so
we've
Chair
got.
Bador, Commissioner Oshigan, that is the plan. Had we asked them to do all that, we'd be presenting a website in 2025. So we wanted to get this up. Jennifer's actually applying to get some help via an intern, whether she gets that or not, but we're hopeful that could go out and actually document a lot of the art that's in existence today. And then certainly we would like to go back and, I simply as a librarian, I would like to see this to be a complete kind of archive of all that we've done and accomplished over the years. They're aware of that, so they've built it so that we can accommodate it. The beauty of a website is it can be easily fixed, adjusted. So
Yes, and especially with this platform that Glendale uses, it makes it much easier, both for Jennifer and for us to go in and add and delete pages very quickly, very easily, and it's very flexible for all that, to add some of the archive pages, yes.
So even if it's like a drop-down button from the
Yes.
top, you can still do it at a
Yes,
later
it's
date.
fairly easy.
Oh,
and-
absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. It just
Perhaps-
takes a lot more time to, especially on the archive side of the older exhibit, the older public arts and things like that, it takes a long time to compile that information. So it's live, and we can start adding the older stuff as we get it.
Perhaps the front page could be extended longer, and we can add more images in there, images that are from the past, but they aren't featured at the top. So the top stuff is the current stuff, and later on are the things that Glendale is really proud of, to put in there, but not buried in other links. I totally agree with that. So we can extend that page out longer and add it, and make a lot of the copy and imagery evergreen, so it's not dated. It doesn't look like it was done 2 years ago.
Right.
It is, hey, this is what we do. This is who we are.
Right. Like public art could be one of the drop-down menus, like this one, you are here, and the water public art on the programs. If you go back to where you were, the past programs. They scroll down, for instance, that's just, like you are here is public art. Water finds a way.
Water
These are
Finds a Way
all
was a public art.
Really interesting Glendale Picnic. These are really interesting public art, temporary public art pieces.
Your
Man.
your 1915 exhibit in Central Park should be on there too, and that's not on there.
Well, we put what we
Under
had.
programs, you could have a one bullet for public art. So if I go to the site looking for public art in Glendale, I can clearly, easily access it, and you see this work that's there, right?
And this is currently existing work, or is this past?
Well, they're
past
temporary, so
installation?
these are
It's a-
past.
the past.
but-
So, okay, we can mention it on the
but,
front page as well.
Well, programming is different, and having the actual artwork is different. I mean, we've got a lot of sculpture around town as well, and that would be different than the public
The temporary
programming
art,
or
temporary art
temporary
that's
art
already
that's
that's
going
not
on.
there anymore. Yeah, so I
Yeah.
think there's a little subtlety
Yeah.
there. We have to.
So we'll
Figure out how to
work
present
on a schema for that
Yeah.
to differentiate it. That's
I don't know. It gets complicated.
It gets very
It
complicated.
does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I think your idea of us all taking a really deep dive into the site and then funneling our suggestions through Jennifer is a good idea, because we can't do that here, obviously.
And
I do have one comment I'd like to make. I mean, you haven't showed us the whole thing, and the structure looks really nice and clean. But the thing that concerns me a little bit, and some of the onus I think is on us, because we're the community, to get photographs out there, is that, the photographs that we show that people click on, not click through to, should be extremely colorful and dynamic. And like, for instance, the performances, it's nice to see a big audience at the Brand and see the stage, but there are photographs of people dancing insanely on the plaza, and musicians really emoting, and the audience reacting to them. And it would be nice if our picture, the images are all the strongest images that we have. And
well, Circle 6 does amazing work, but they can't create that which does not exist. So you're right. It is incumbent upon
exactly.
us to get those images.
The
to them.
onus is on us to get you images, and I know that we've all been at things and we've all taken a lot of photographs, and I think you can have a file. You don't have to do anything with all of them, but we should be able to give you as much
Right.
as we can of things we'd like to see on the website. And I'm sure
Absolutely.
we all have that. I know I've got like a file of 1,000 images, so I need to do something with those.
Right.
And,
Absolutely. I know that I personally would love that. These are stock images that we have in-house. So if there are any photos that you want to see on the website, please send them
Yeah.
to me, because we're using photos that are
stock images are, a little bit more organic and, like the real deal. So,
Maybe a good start, as we've done it before with other clients, is give us your top 10.
okay.
So it's not a flood of images.
Yes.
And because
Yeah.
your curation becomes more and more
Yeah.
broad. Also, we tried to color
good
correct some of
idea.
these images as well, but you color correct them to a certain point and they break down.
Yeah.
They get pixelated, and we didn't want to discredit the
wanna,
images. Yeah. So, but certainly, if you have images, more than happy to take them and incorporate them.
Okay.
That's more than welcome.
Thank you. It's great.
Are you going to continue presenting right now?
No, I think we're done. I mean, the best thing is for you to go through the site and take a look and see if you have any notes, suggestions.
So I didn't want to interrupt you. That's why if you're
go ahead.
continue. But I had a few questions. So what is the platform we're using? Is it WordPress? Is it
It's Wix.
Wix.
Okay.
It is we just transferred the temporary site over into Glendale's.
Okay.
This is the platform that Glendale
Yeah,
uses.
there's a
Oh, so
Glendale
we-
uses
we are-
that
we are
City
bound.
uses this,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
I know how you probably
We,
feel about
we
that.
typically build in WordPress
Yeah,
because of the
that's a
flexibility and
professional
amazing,
one.
but it does get unruly if you have multiple platforms.
Yeah.
So Wix is
I agree with you. Okay. And then, so this is coming out of the urban art plan, I presume? And how
Yeah.
much did it cost to actually complete the website? Because I don't know if we know that.
We still have a cost estimate that we're working with Circle 6. There's a lot of additional work that they had to do as part of the building of the template, so we don't have an exact amount at this
So in
moment.
January, you're going to present a budget summary that'll
Yes.
sweep this in.
So it'll be in the budget. And does that mean that, so I know that you guys did a lot of the work as like full-time, so now you're no longer full-time. Do we have them on a retainer to make updates, or is that just you now? And there's no longer going to be additions into the cost?
So, Chair Vidor, Commissioner Zadorian, they weren't full time. They're an independent company, but they have been working,
Working
yes,
full-time.
a great deal on it. So now it is up, and we can continue to work with them. But obviously, we want to be as economical as possible and not give them 5 changes and then change back 3 of them or all that. So we'll try to work as expeditiously as possible. Does that answer your question, or maybe Jennifer could answer it a little better?
Maybe Jennifer can answer that.
Okay.
The maintenance moving forward of the website will be under my purview.
Okay.
So any additions, edits, recommendations for changes would go through me under the purview of my work within the 30-hour work week.
Mm-hmm. And then did we have, I'm assuming Jennifer maybe can answer this, or you, who came up with like the platform design? Were there examples sent to you of what we wanted to go based off of other websites? Is it based off of the Glendale websites, which are typically very bland? Mm-hmm. Who came up with the design element?
Helena came up with multiple designs that were.
Okay.
So we presented the design, and then we worked with Gary, and I think before you were here. We worked on it, and then we went forward with this layout, a clean, simple layout, which was presented at the last meeting, and then we went ahead and finished it.
So the colors on the front page, the blocks at the bottom, those are all within the color scheme that we used, which were actually pulled from the urban arts
graphic.
The
graphic
actual
to stay consistent. So.
And then the last question. So I'm wondering what you guys might think on the website, if to keep it kind of uniform with what we're doing, if we had it as 4 types of art and it breaks down to citywide, neighborhood, performing arts and culture, and then you include those tabs within those specific elements, because that's kind of what the brand is right now, is that there's 4 types of art in the city, and these programs fit into those types. So I'm wondering if that'll look more uniform and cohesive with what we've been doing. I mean, this community meeting we're having, we're literally breaking into 4 different topics. So maybe we want to keep those topics uniform on the website as well.
So Chair Vidor, as well as Commissioner Zadorian, excellent point. Jennifer and I actually spoke of that just this morning, of doing something under about that would break into the 4 sections that we have. What's clean about how they have it arranged now under programs is if I'm looking for the Adams Square Mini Park gas station, I wouldn't probably think to look under neighborhood arts. And the beauty of a website is it can come in from different angles. So I think our plan would be to keep that so someone could find that right away, but then under about break out the 4 different areas and then link to the things that are appropriate with those.
And explain what those specific things are.
Absolutely.
Right. So there's a cross-reference then
to
neighborhood arts with Adams Square.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because right now it's actually I think the only example we have of a neighborhood arts program, and we want people, I may be incorrect about that, but it would be nice for people to see that in that context.
Yeah, Scott Froschauer's program as well
That's
is under
right.
that.
And would it be possible to add that on the homepage as for those 4 tabs, and with a small 2-sentence summary of each one, so when you click on it, it goes directly to that page on the website?
Absolutely. I was actually going to suggest that. Maybe the front page should be that, as opposed to having to push everybody to the menu. The menu is a consolidation of everything that's available through the front website, as well as ancillary things like artist opportunities.
Yeah.
But also, the great thing about the web is that everybody thinks differently. The way they, I would never have thought maybe that Adams Square is considered neighborhood art.
Yeah.
I might think that it's considered public art or whatever.
And it is.
But however people think about it, there's different ways of cross-referencing things on a website. And so we have that flexibility.
Yeah.
And we can do it in different ways.
Okay.
Did we see arts calendar? Can we just click on that briefly? Can on the drop.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go.
I left my glasses in the car.
I was going to ask one more question.
So these are things that are coming up from today onward. Okay.
This is something that will be updated regularly. Currently, it's kind of baked into the page. Things would have to be moved around. We really want to incorporate more of a blog type of a environment where you put the data in, it puts the images in, and consistency of type, consistency of layout.
That one is a little too much text.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think at the last meeting we did bring that up about having it so you click on the title, then the information will pop up so we have less words on the website because, I mean, words are, it's throwing you off a little bit how much there is to read. So I don't know if we were going to continue with that idea. And there's just one more question I wanted to add, and it actually has to do with arts and calendar. I know that the link goes to Facebook. Is there any way to get that on there so when these events on Facebook are there, you can click on it and it goes directly to RSVP on Facebook, or our Facebook posts automatically are updated on the website, or the Instagram posts? I know that's Glendale Library and Arts, but if those can be connected to our website, so it's like the blog posts on the bottom that show you the latest posts on the website, so it's more current.
Yeah, we could definitely reference the Facebook feed or an Instagram feed or anything there.
Yeah.
And present it in whatever order. Absolutely.
I know that that'll probably be something that Jennifer might have to do. Unfortunately, I know that might be a little difficult, but if that's possible, I think that's super important. So it also, people click on it, they can RSVP faster, and they see the latest posts. I mean, it makes everything much more current, because everything else will look like, oh, this is from a month ago, this is from 3 months ago, but that's like, this happened 3 hours ago, it was posted. So that's important.
We can definitely have a real-time feed, so it's not even manually updated. As soon as somebody posts it,
It automatically goes.
And even maybe tied in specific to the calendar function in Facebook and not just everything you post.
Yeah.
So.
Thank you.
Okay, so when, obviously, we want to get our input in timely so that we can, move on and advance this. So do we want to take our personal reviews and have everything so that we can finalize the comments by the next meeting in January? So everybody looks at the website, and if they have photographs they want to see, their top 10 photographs for things, they submit them to Jennifer, but we don't just let this drag on. I think we need to wrap it up. So does everyone agree it should, we should be ready to deal with this in January?
Yes.
Well, I think the January meeting would be the perfect time to really, we've announced it as live today, but would be the perfect time to really launch it. It's okay, now it's final and it's,
With our
up and
comments
going,
incorporated.
everything incorporated,
So
updated.
That sounds like an excellent idea. The only problem is we're going into the holidays, and that January 9th meeting will be here right away. So you would need to get your comments in the next 2 days. And they would need to work over the Christmas holiday, and I think that's unfair to ask of them. I do agree we want to get it in there. So I assumed you were speaking of the January
16th.
commission meeting.
The January commission
So if we could get
meeting, yes.
everything in by then. The site's up, and it's it works, and so I think if we get it by the January 16th meeting, get that to you all, and then we can get that stuff, those changes made. I don't think you'll definitely have changes, and the changes you've discussed today, we can start incorporating sooner than later. We don't need to wait for that, but let's, I agree with Chair Vidor that we want to get it as, we don't want it to drag out.
Right.
And currently it is live, and it's at a place right now where there are tweaks. Yes, there always will be tweaks. That's the great thing about the web. It's pretty quick, so it's live right now, and we'll see. We can make updates fairly quickly, and we have been.
We can get some essentials in. If you wanted
Yeah.
to get your changes in to Jennifer, I don't know if she's going to be available during the holidays. But to get it to us, and we can always just update the essentials so it's there. We feel more comfortable with it, and then we can go build out the back end a little more.
Okay, so then people would have to have their review comments and any materials they want included to Jennifer by when in order?
I would say, go ahead.
Go ahead,
Dr.
Jennifer.
Shaver. I would recommend if you can go home tonight and do some homework and go through the website. I would love to receive feedbacks by Friday evening, this Friday evening, which is what, tomorrow. Or we can do it Sunday, because then on Monday I can come back into the office and connect with Armin and Helena in regards to last, kind of feedback that we want to incorporate.
Get on it quickly.
And then if
Sunday
there's
evening.
anything, major, or let's say two commissioners conflict with each other, we could come back to at the meeting in January and work that out and make a decision.
Comment?
So we're launching this on the 9th, Yes,
launched.
publicly.
It's launched.
It's live.
already.
But
It's live.
yes, it's live. I understand, but I think it'd be great on the
We're
9th
announcing
meeting.
it.
To announce
Announce it
it, yeah.
that we have a website and we have this is live now. The
Yes.
commission. So that would be one of the things that we did, and I suggest we make it an agenda point.
Well, it's
on
part
that
of the,
day.
it's, I don't think
No,
it has
but
to be
it's-
an individual agenda point in January 9th. It's part of the update.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't have all the update items listed here, but the website completion is part of the update that's going to be given.
Yeah, but if we do it, we could do a big public kind of launch and make it a little bit.
Well, we
Look,
announced
we have a
it.
website now. This city has never had a website.
Actually,
The commission has
commission
never had a website.
has-
Here we are.
Chair
we can make a big
Vidor,
deal out of it.
Commissioner Oshagon, we actually have had a website
Yeah.
all
The Arts and
along.
Culture Commission.
Yes.
Yeah.
It just may not have,
Been obvious.
been as nice as the one we're talking about today. But we've always had a website.
It's got a lot of
so-
text on it. It has a lot of links. It wasn't designed to be a standalone thing, but it's been there forever.
Yeah. So, but I do agree that it should be.
make a big deal of it, no?
Well, we will announce it and we will let them know. But I mean, to this day and age, I have a website. It's like most everyone, many people do. You have your own professional website. So it's, and a lot of people say, oh, what a legitimate business that person has. They have a website, and it's like, that doesn't make them legitimate.
Well, we
But
can do a
this is
relaunch.
legitimate.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Relaunch and a
going to be
revamp.
mentioned
Got a
and
facelift.
shown
But we will make sure
at the
everyone
meeting.
knows that evening
Yeah,
that we
they're
do
gonna
have a
know.
website, because we are proud of it, and we want to showcase it. So excellent suggestion.
I just think we need to really get our comments in and get this thing the way we
Sunday.
want it and pull it together.
May I make a comment?
Yes, please.
I just want to thank you for going live yesterday and making it simple, because in preparation for today's meeting, I actually was one of your first users and benefactors. And so
Yay, there you go.
I learned a lot. Thank you.
And that's great, because, to hear that from you, who has not been, rolling along with us all this time, that's really nice to hear.
I still have a long way to go, but I
Still,
caught up
but
with a little bit. Thank you.
I also want to thank you for your job, for a great job, Helena. And our men, very clean, nicely, well done, well organized. Thank you for
Thank you.
doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
My
you.
partner in crime. She's
The master.
the master of crime.
yeah.
So, thank you.
Easy.
And if I might, I'd like to also thank Circle Six for doing this, and also thank Jennifer, because she did a great deal of work
Yes,
with
thank
them
you, Jennifer.
on it. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
Jennifer's assistance was heroic. Really. Thank you. Thank you.
She's our hero.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
you.
We appreciate it.
Do we have a motion to note and file?
Can I have a motion to note and file?
I make a motion to note and file the report on the Arts and Culture Commission website.
Second,
I'll second.
roll call.
Commissioners Vyar,
Yes.
Oshagan,
Yes.
Tufenkian,
Yes.
Vice Chair Zadorian,
Yes.
Chairperson Vidor.
Yes. Next item, please.
Agenda item 6, discussion items, 2019A, 2019-2020 work plan progress. First, we have up citywide art. Staff has begun to research the process of drafting an RFP for iconic art, and will work with the City Attorney's Office on next step regarding the proposal. Neighborhood arts, staff will be working with artist Lucas Novak, as we mentioned earlier, to install a new temporary art installation at the Adams Square Mini Park gas station, which will be on display from January 21st to February 14th, 2020. Performing arts, staff has released a performances application for the 2020 season of the 222 East Concert Series and Brand Library Plaza Series. The application is currently open and will close on January 31st, 2020. Arts and cultural events, staff has released the Glendale Art Walk RFP. The deadline to apply is January 17th, 2020.
Anybody have any comments or questions?
Chair Vidor, if I might, before commissioners ring in, just to clarify that, because Commissioner Tufenkian had brought this up earlier, that the RFP for iconic artwork would actually be for a consultant, which is what we've talked about.
Right.
So.
Any comments or questions?
I have a question. So for neighborhood arts, I think a few times we've discussed having another neighborhood included in that other than Adams Square, since Adams Square has kind of always been continuously funded worked on volunteering. They have the attention. So where is the next neighborhood that we're going to be aiming for? Because I think that's super important, and we can give an update.
You will find out
So-
as the chair of the neighborhood group.
Do we have any idea? I'm trying to figure out if this is something we come up with. Is it something that staff comes up with? Should we be doing our own research on what the next neighborhood is? Should we throw out our ideas? Because I think it's time so when we go into 2020, we have a clear view of this is the neighborhood we're going to work on. So like Adams Square, as much as it is South Glendale, like there's other portions of South Glendale that could get attention. There is the north portion of Glendale that is Montrose, not the northwest Glendale of Kenneth Village. There is Kenneth Village area. There's so many different parts of Glendale that we can focus on. So I want to see, where is our focus? What are we looking at?
So, Chair Vidor, Commissioner Zador, Vice Chair Zadorian. So it's a little of both. It arises organically. Sometimes an opportunity presents itself. We'd certainly make that known to you. If you all have suggestions, that certainly would be something this commission would then entertain. So at this moment, we literally keep our ear to the ground on certain things, and we're hopeful to have an opportunity soon, but if you all think of anything too, it's certainly open for discussion.
Okay. Can we
discuss on this?
Yeah, that's what's announced.
It's under discussion, I believe, so briefly.
I would go ahead.
Please finish.
Just like a few places that I named. I know there's lots of places, so I kind of want to see what you guys are thinking. Obviously, I would love to do downtown Glendale, but that's already getting so much attention from the library, from Artsakh, and the work Artsakh is going to be doing. I think we should hold off on that until they're finished completing the project there. Adams Square's got its own, attention and people focusing on that. So I want to hear what you guys think. Where is the next location?
Well,
Where's the next location?
I think part of that is, Gary mentioned, I think part of that should come organically. I think, the community should show the interest as well. And maybe January 9th, when we break into our
They can give the ideas.
small groups, I think that might be somewhere where people might come up with ideas of, okay, well, we've got this great space, and this would be a perfect spot to have more community events.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you brought that up because, as a longtime resident of Adams Hill, the community actually it was a totally grassroots initiated movement. And then, of course, the city, this department, the Parks Department, came on board and became supportive. But I think more than any other part of what we do, the neighborhood piece is the most organic and most in need of grassroots support, because we have talked about, your neighborhood that you grew up in the Montrose Shopping Park. I've had some discussions with people about Kenneth Village. I'm sure other people have talked to people they know. And I kind of feel like, come on, public, who else out there besides Adams Hill wants to have art be part of their daily lives? And I'm sure that there are many people, but we just haven't been able to pull them out of the woodwork yet. So hopefully after January 9th, there will be a whole bunch of new initiatives that will have popped up.
Agreed.
Yeah, go ahead.
One, for instance, quick update on Fremont Park. We've talked about Fremont
right.
Park.
That's
The
right.
thing is, the Fremont Park is being completely redone, apparently. I don't know, $15 million project by the city or something like this. And so actually getting space to do art there is quite a ways down the line. So it's a year, 2 years before that park is completely going to be completely redone.
And I on that topic, I know, since that is a potential neighborhood-oriented thing, there's a plan to have some pedestals and some art support structures put in. And it seems like it would be really important for us to be partnering with the Parks Department to make sure that those things are, going to be appropriate and flexible enough to support public art in the neighborhood. So,
And I think that's a few years out right now, but we have something we're hopeful it's just premature to discuss right now, but I'm hopeful in early next year to be able to come to you all with a neighborhood project. But we're just kind of, again, trying to read tea leaves and other things. So I think definitely that can also be a push for us next year. But we do have a large task ahead of us with iconic art as well.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, so I thought, the process could be where this January 9th meeting is really important, where we get feedback from the public about what kind of neighborhood arts we can do.
Yeah, I think.
Plus, I think we should have our input, and perhaps Savannah can be the lead on that. And then at some point, there should be an RFQ to hire a consultant to do neighborhood arts in our city, right? We can't do it, right? Just like Iconic Art needs RFQ, the studio art tour, the studio tour needs an art. We need somebody to handle that, spearhead it. But like one of our, like Savannah could be the person from the commission who's kind of spearheading that, and then the RFQ comes in and we get a consultant to actually implement some of the ideas that we have. I mean, if we leave it to be to the winds, nothing will happen most likely. It just goes on, and all these neighborhoods that we want to serve, bring up public art to, will not get the public art that we want to take to them.
So that's actually one of the fears that I have is that, okay, we're having this meeting and I really hope that people show up from all communities, but there's also the aspect of like who shows up to these things, the people that are already really like interested in the arts or involved in the arts, or like, I don't want to say affluent, but they're privileged enough to be able to have the spare time to dedicate to arts. So there's going to be communities that are a little underprivileged and not going to be as interested. So it's also a thing of like, can we go into the community instead of them coming to us? Like after the January 9th, we can discuss this of like, okay, maybe we didn't get enough feedback from diverse communities. Can we go out? Can we figure out what people want in these neighborhoods?
We should. Not only can we, I think that's our role as a commission, as we have this Urban Art Fund to bring arts to our communities, to do that on a local neighborhood basis and find a system in which to do it. RFQs take time, I know, so maybe, beginning of next year we can have
I
some
think
movement on
Commissioner
that
Oshigan, I would agree with you, and I think, having a consultant and one of their tasks would be, it isn't just to do it and just talk to the people that show up to the meeting. It is proper community engagement, is going out and engaging with the communities, plural, and in different areas. So I would concur with that. I also think an iconic artwork consultant is doing iconic art. They're not limited to, they could be contracted to do both, neighborhood and iconic. So if we get the right person. But definitely I would think we would want to have proper engagement happening.
I mean, on that topic, just a question. There are definitely some, I would say, little locuses of potential in Glendale that could be, early adopters of public art. One of them, on East Lexington, there's a very big formal grass roundabout in the Riverdale district. There's a very big formal roundabout with a grass center, those things are always good potential places to put public art. And there, if we work closely, and I have pictures of both of them and I'm happy to send them to you, but if we find those spaces, parkways, roundabouts, grassy, I don't want to say grassy knoll, but you know what I mean.
Any park is a
Well, parks, yes, but these are not parks. These are, what I'm talking about are not parks. They're actually part of the streetscape, but they're kind of ready. They're art ready in some respect because they're grassy expanses that just happen to be set up and there's nothing going on them. They just have grass. Some of them aren't even planted. And if we can work with Public Works to try to find out where these little places are that have that kind of potential, that might be some place to start. I mean, both those neighborhoods are not. That's not where a lot of our draw comes from. Riverdale and East Lexington are multifamily areas. They're, centrally located. And, we could, if we can spread the word about this January 9th thing into those areas, maybe we could get a few people to show up.
But we do need the community support, which you all have indicated, because, you go into, and it's so interesting that you might get NIMBYism about art. Like that horrifies any of us, but some folks just, I want my kind of art in this town. I don't want that kind of art in this. So, so it's kind of like having the neighborhood support. Then that makes it much easier to make it happen.
Yes, agree.
Well, plus also, I think the Adams Square Mini Park, I think that's more of a community engagement. It's kind of like a changing exhibit. So there's a lot more engagement and community involvement. But I think if we're talking about cityscape and so on, that's more static and, more, even if it's temporary, it's more permanent and, not as much engagement. So.
Yeah, parks are our main potential, but those other little spots, I think, are ways to, kind of fan out and do something different. We shouldn't ignore them because some neighborhoods don't have parks.
Yeah.
They just have things like that.
Right.
Especially in South Glendale, it's pretty park poor.
Yes.
So.
May I make one more comment?
Yeah, sure.
So just from what I'm seeing, from what we talked about and in past meetings, I think that we should come to a place where we start the process to find the locations of public art, places that public art already exists, roundabouts, so city, what did you use? Cityscape, is that what you said?
Well, they're like streetscape that are more expansive.
That it's possible to have public art, small parks, and public buildings, walls, utilities that can be utilized for art. If we can kind of start the process to find these types of locations so that we can actually have locations to have public art. That's possible.
So, and then we would look to the commission to let us know, do we want to take time to catalog art, provided we were able to secure an intern that is existing already and have that for the website, or would we rather that person be going out and cataloging empty spaces that may or may not be available to us? So that's, just, it's a matter of, human power, too.
And how in that case, how
Get two interns.
how do we define public art in the case you described? Because let's say, I know in back of a building in central Glendale where there's some tables and chairs, there's a mural of trees, and I think that was put up privately. It's a small mural, but it's on the wall. And are we talking about public art on public buildings paid for by public money, or does that include private things that are on the public domain?
Personally, and I can be overruled, I think it's wherever there is art. There's art in the city that's well in kind of the public area, but was not funded by public dollars. But it's art, and on our tour, when you and I went to Culver City, they chose to include, they did a printed catalog, which was nice, but I think on the web would be good. They decided to include some items that weren't, that they hadn't commissioned because they're there and you're walking around and it's like, why isn't this is art, why isn't this here? So.
Sure. I agree.
I agree with
you.
Definitely. I think we should document all of it, but clearly resource starved, which is the priority is important.
Well, it gives me something to think about, and Commissioner Tufenkian will be able to relate to this. When we were gnashing our teeth about not having a handle on historic resources, we just recruited the whole community to be volunteers and go out, and I don't think we could get 100 people, but we got a huge number of people, trained them on how to document what they needed to document, and sent them out. And maybe we need to launch this as a grassroots effort for the community to get out there and find public art. It worked with the buildings very well, and I think it could work with public art too.
I think that would be helpful. And then to Commissioner Vice Chair Zadorian's point, people did put into a database places on a map.
Yes.
And, if we we should be looking at those before that public meeting, because
Right.
if I put something there, I might
You
say,
wanna
well,
hear-
I did suggest this 2 years ago.
Yep.
So we do, I think, have a catalog of spaces. The problem is some of those might be, yeah, that's your neighbor's wall. That's not a public wall, or that's. But I mean, I still think if we spend some time going through that database, which again just takes time, and Jennifer's been doing a yeoman's job of getting things done. But that's another rich resource we need to tap.
Is that still available to us to tap
yes.
onto through the website?
Yeah.
Okay.
Through this website?
And that's
It should link.
Barbara's.
It should link up on this website. If it does not, it's still available. We're happy to send out that link.
okay.
That'd be great.
And
That would be good.
Would we be working with the other department to confirm, like, the public buildings? I mean, obviously, we can go say, oh, this is a public building, but who's going to confirm that? Obviously, our intern wouldn't know that. Somebody from Public Works that
Right.
knows these are confirmed
So again, it's
public
just
walls.
it's the resources. So I think our better way would be, that's an ideal area to do something. Let's kind of propose that to city versus going out and cataloging every blank space in the city. It might be better to kind of identify, this would be the perfect roundabout for something, or this would be the perfect.
It could be another top 10, like we could talk about, because we've all looked, obviously you have, and we all are familiar with the physical landscape, and then we could use the co-urbanized database, which is available, that people originally weighed in on, and find the really hot spots
I think
there.
that'd be more
I
expeditious.
think that would be
if
very
I'm-
important to go back to the urbanized.
Yeah, co-urbanized is definitely our primary.
And then looking at those places you see that you mentioned one in a meeting we had recently on Glen Oaks, or near where Brand and Glen Oaks come together. Maybe it was on Brand, I'm unsure, but
Across from Hilton.
yeah, so.
Yeah.
So that would make the process much faster, and I'm definitely willing to do that. I don't want to speak on behalf of you guys, but if we want art to survive and like thrive in Glendale for more than a year or two, I think we should have someone start the process of archiving these things. We can do it now for this year, that's fine, so we can get our own process going, but if we want art to continue in Glendale for, I'm hoping, my entire lifetime, someone's going to have to do it eventually. So I would like that we still do it.
Okay, so we'll, and that was what we had hoped to do, was doing archiving what's there. But then I think each commissioner can, go out and also looking at co-urbanized, looking what's out there. We'll do the same to see where it goes, and then as opportunities arise, we'll also of course, bring them to the commission. So. Okay.
Great.
Thank you.
Are there any other comments on agenda item 6? Okay.
Yes, one more. The RFPs, would the RFPs be available on the new website? Is that where people would find it?
Yes.
Yes, the RFP for the Glendale Art Walk is currently under Artist Opportunities, and it's also on the current city's website. There's also, yes, the both RFPs will be, yeah.
Can I ask how many, it's been up for a while, how many applications we've got so far?
I have not received any actual applications, but I've had 4 inquiries from different companies.
Oh, okay.
The application is a pretty intensive process, so I'm sure people will receive them in the new year.
Okay. And how long does that stay up?
January 17th.
Okay.
That's for the iconic artwork.
This is the Art Walk.
Right.
And where is the RFP for the iconic art? Out? Is it public?
It's not, we have not, we've been working on this one.
You're working on it,
So
so-
then that's the next one
That's
we'll
the
be
next one.
working on.
We expect that maybe in the January or the February meeting?
I would venture to guess we would bring you a draft, and our hope is to bring a draft in January, February at the latest, but we're hopeful
I
January.
would recommend February.
What's that?
I would recommend February. There's a lot happening in
It's-
January.
Okay, February.
Okay. One more question on I noticed the call to artists for the performance venues came in. So who's the commissioner? That, I think it's me, but I'm not sure.
I believe
There is
there's
going to be
two. It's you and one other.
Who were the?
Do you have that with you?
I don't have it with me, but I
Is it
know
us? Okay.
Yeah, I believe it's
Caroline and
Commissioner
myself.
Tefantian
Okay.
and Chair Vidor.
Just checking on that. Okay.
And for that process, the application is due January 31st, and then we'll host we'll host a panel review with commissioners in most likely early February, and I can send you both dates
Okay.
for availability.
And will Blair Whittington be involved
Absolutely.
in that? Okay. Good. Okay, I guess next item, unless we're still.
There's your favorite note and file. There's not on this? Okay.
Oh, note to file.
My
No, this is
apologies.
just a
There is
discussion.
No note to file on this one. Okay, great.
Agenda item 7, commission and staff comments.
Comments?
I would like to also welcome our newest commissioner. Welcome, and I
Thank
hope
you
that
very much.
you enjoy sitting here with us and the process. And it's honestly a great time to be part of the commission. There's going to be a lot happening, so I'm very excited to get your input and your, I guess the word would be just your say in everything. Congratulations.
Thank
Welcome
you.
aboard.
Thank you very much. I certainly support your mission.
Yes, if I could also welcome Jane. I know she's been a major supporter of the arts for many, many years. She's been to almost every Effect Space opening, I think, that I can remember since the beginning. As well as her husband at GCC, major supporters of the arts there and public art and all kinds of arts. So welcome. You are a
Thanks.
tremendously beneficial addition to our commission here.
We're full.
I second that.
Every seat's taken. Thank you.
Okay, next item.
Agenda item 8, written communications.
Oh, we don't have commissioner comments?
That was
was-
commissioner.
Oh, that was the comment. Oh,
comment.
I totally missed. Too late. I just wanted to say, I'm going back to item 7. I just wanted to say thank you so much for the work that was done for Hollywood Hustle, which was the last Adams Square thing. I'm speaking now not only as a commissioner, but as a resident of the area who really appreciates the level of quality and the work that was done by the curators and the jurying team to get somebody of very high quality in, and it looks like the next ones are going to be great. So thank you so much. Thank you. Okay, now, next item.
Agenda item 8, written communications.
I haven't heard about anything, so looks like that's done.
Okay,
So
agenda item 9.
we are adjourned. Thank you all very
New
much,
record.
and Happy New Year and Happy holidays.
New record.